What's up, guys? It's Alexander. Again, I just left the gym. Question that came up that I did not feel like typing out a response to, but it was a good question. I just too long to try to just say it in a tweet. So the ideal amount of muscle that a natural lifter can gain per week if you've been training 18 months and to ensure minimal body fat gain. So let me say that again, perhaps a little more clear. What is the ideal amount of muscle you can gain as a natural lifter if you've been lifting a year and a half and to not gain any body fat? It's a lot of conditions. The answer is I have no fucking idea, because that is an absurd fucking proposition. And I know, Caleb, I say this, not to be an asshole at all, but that kind of question, the idea that, well, how do I know how much I'm going to gain per week of muscle, but then also not gain any fat? Oh, and I've been lifting 18 months. There is no fucking way to determine that, dude. Zero. The amount of muscle you can gain in a year as a novice lifter, there's actually a scale to it. There's a shitload of data. So you will make about, in the first 5 years of your training, you will make about almost 100% of your muscular gains. The first year, you can gain anywhere from, typically speaking, if you have okay to good genetics, you can gain in the first year of lifting, the first 12 months, let's say it's about 15 to up to 50 pounds of muscle. That's a huge range. So that depends on your genetics. So let's say you gain 30 pounds of muscle the first year, then the second year is going to be about half of what you gained the first year. So if you gained, let's say, 30 pounds of muscle in your first year of lifting, you might gain another 15 the next year of your lifting. And then after that, it keeps going down precipitously. So 30, 15, in year 3, you might gain another 7 pounds. In year 4, you might gain 3-ish pounds. In year 5, if you've been lifting 5 years straight, you're looking at a muscle gain of about maybe 1-2 pounds a year. That's it. That's fucking it. Seatbelt. I don't wear seatbelts. Seatbelts kill more people than they save. What are you talking about? Fucking seatbelts. Seatbelts. Anyway, back to the point though. So your muscle gain as a natural lifter, I don't know, because I don't know what your muscle gain was in your first 18 months. The other factor to this that doesn't make sense, but it makes sense, is, well, what if I'm trying to minimize fat gain? What's the ideal amount of muscle? There's no way to calculate that. There's zero fucking way to calculate that. There is no way. The ideal amount of muscle, but not gaining any body fat. If you're gaining muscle at all, there is some fat gain. Muscle tissue of and in itself has fatty acids in it. You have intramuscular triglycerides that are stored in your muscle tissue. So if you are gaining lean muscle mass, you're automatically going to gain fat mass to some degree or another. Whether you're natural or you're enhanced. It's not just dry tissue. And then the other factor to that is, even if you're trying to lean bulk, we're basically just meaning that you're not trying to, stuff your face and you're eating reasonably, like I often say. If you're a natural guy, you don't need to be bulking. You need to just be eating in a slight to, relative surplus or at maintenance. And then you just do that year round and you keep fucking lifting progressively. So how much, muscle you're going to gain that's ideal with no fat gain? I don't know, dude. I don't know. There's all those factors that you have to account for. I listed out. What were your results in training? What have your results been the past 18 months? How much has your body composition changed? If you've measured all of that, you might be able to get a reasonable estimation where you could say, okay, I can expect to gain, literally like a 1/4 pound of muscle a week, maybe over the next 8 months or 6 months, whatever. The reality being too, if you've been training a while, gaining muscle, you're talking about grams of muscle a week. Smidgens of frickin' muscle. If you've been training 5 years, the amount of muscle that you gain week to week, you can't even calculate it. Like, you might gain 100 grams of muscle, maybe, like actual dry muscle tissue, 50 grams of muscle a week. Anyone that's a natural lifter that's been training a long time, this because you've experienced it. You measure progress in frickin' increments. Maybe your shoulders look a little more defined. Maybe the actual muscle definition that you achieved, it's a 1/2 ounce of muscle tissue, but the striation's a little bit deeper. It's extremely, extremely slow. No one's making dramatic changes, past the 5-year mark. It's a long game. It's an absolutely long game. So, question in a nutshell, I don't know. That's for you to figure out. And the reality to your progress is it's probably going to be a lot slower than you expect it to actually be. The thing with muscle tissue that deceives people is that it doesn't take that much muscle to look dramatically different. You can gain, if you go from, let's say, 170 to 200 pounds, you're going to look like a completely different person. Yeah, same thing if you go from 200 pounds to 205. The extra 5 pounds of muscle, if it's distributed, let's say in the shoulders, chest, triceps, you're going to look like a way bigger guy. And if you know how to train, as I say, properly, your physique should be aesthetic in the sensibility that you create an illusion of even greater size than you actually possess, if you know how to proportion yourself. So take all that into account. Any questions at all? Somehow these always come out to 5 minutes. Every answer is always like a 5-minute ranting answer. Just how it goes. Well, while you're thinking of questions, I'm going to drink my Minos. No questions, guys. You got 1 minute. 1 minute and 4 seconds. Left side smaller than right. That's pretty normal. You need to hone in your technique. Make sure you are moving the weight with perfect symmetry. And if you're not, make sure you're doing some unilateral work to balance out the asymmetry. And also, if you have an asymmetry that's expressing itself through, let's say, like uneven lifting, where you're pressing the dumbbells and one side's going up one way and one side's going to the other, you need to absolutely fix that shit. And also, do not favor your stronger side. So if you're lifting any kind of weight, whether it doesn't matter whether it's barbells, dumbbells, cables, whatever, you can do 3 more reps on your right side. You don't do those 3 reps. You train to the strength of your weaker side, and you do that as long as necessary until your weaker side gets stronger. You also mentally focus your neuromuscular innervation into the weaker side, and all of your neural drive is going to that weaker muscle, or weaker side of the body. That's what you do. And it takes about, let's say, a year to 2 years. Is Bowflex better or worse than free weight? Free weights are better. Bowflexes work, but they're just free weights. Should you do extra sets on weak side? Yeah, you can. How do I know when I can safely return to the gym after an injury? Right away, as soon as you can tolerate the pain and just do something and start moving. Good rotator cuff exercises, dude, look those up. YouTube, Athlean X, rotator cuff movements. I'm in the car. I'm not going to go through and demonstrate a fuckload of rotator cuff exercises. Your rotator cuff, it's part of your shoulder girdle. If you have complete muscular development of your entire shoulder girdle, shoulder complex, you want to call it that, teres major, teres minor, posterior deltoid, medial deltoid, anterior deltoid, upper, middle, lower trapezius, latissimus, you develop all those, and the rhomboids as well. Develop all of that in tandem with a bunch of rowing, a shitload of rowing at all angles, proper technique with all your movements, you'll have strong rotator cuff. If you don't do that, and all you do is some half-assed dumbbell rows for your back and some half-assed pull-downs, and that's it, then you'll have a fucked up rotator cuff, and your back will look like shit, and you'll probably be built like a gremlin. Row your boat, row some more. Should the 50 push-up number you said be all in one? Yeah, it should. All the numbers I gave for body weight standards, that's one set. So 20 reps, 20 pull-ups in a row, that means 20 pull-ups in a row. Same thing for push-ups, same thing for dips, same thing for lunges, etc., etc., etc. It's one all-out set. Anything else, gentlemen? Does rowing build muscle? Yeah, it does, actually. Is sub 10% body fat stable for most naturals? No, it takes about 4 to 5 years to get there. Squats, feet angled or straight forward, that depends on your hip structure. There's no right or wrong answer to that. Depends on your hip structure. A pain on behind the neck press, good movement, but most people are contraindicated and cannot do it safely. How many times per week does it need to have sex for it to count as something, a workout? Sex does not count as a workout. Not unless, I guess, maybe you're in porn and you are just fucking like an unbelievable amount. In that case, I guess it would count as exercise, but I highly doubt that that's the case. Is the elliptical good? No, it will give you AIDS and kill you, and also give you cancer of the genitals if you use the elliptical. It's not good. Is that a real question? Jesus, people. I have herpes. I am sorry. That is unfortunate. You should have made better life choices. Are there any other, actual serious questions? Is lifting weights good? Are we going to ask that too? Jesus, you guys. German volume training. Thoughts? Fucking thoughts question. German volume training is excellent for mass gain. It is. It works really, really, really well. The caveat to it is that you have to have perfect technique on all the barbell movements, since German volume training, GVT, is typically done with the barbell. If you have the proper technique and you can ensure that all your sets will be equal to each other in repetition quality, then yeah, you could do GVT. If you're still learning barbell movements, I would not recommend it. I've been stuck in my body weight for 3 months now. How do I increase muscle without adding fat? You need to train progressively and get stronger. If you're not getting stronger, you're not building muscle, period. There's going to be a little bit of fat gain with that. Let me rephrase this. Is the elliptical comparable to running? No, the elliptical is not comparable to running at all. Elliptical works well for cardio. It does. So it will build your central cardio and peripheral cardio to a degree. But being good at the elliptical, to say it that way, does not mean that you're equivalency good at running. They don't equalize each other at all. That said, if you can't run at all, you have a knee injury, hip issue, etc., then yeah, elliptical is fine to use. Favorite team sport to play? I don't like team sports at all. Don't watch them, don't give a fuck about them. I don't want to depend upon other people for my personal performance. I have zero interest in them. That said, hockey is fun to watch, but I don't actually watch it. But the 2 times I have gone to a game, it was very entertaining. So yeah, sports are not something I remotely give a shit about in any way, shape, or form. What you sipping on? Amino acids. Thoughts on lifting straps? Lifting straps can be used by any level of training. They work well. You don't want to use them to compensate for a weak grip, so you still want to train your grip. Training grip is best accomplished by simply training your arms, forearms, biceps. That's pretty direct to do. Straps will allow you to get your back stronger. For some people, they need them more than others. So it's kind of like a if or and situation, whether you want to use them or not. In regards to strength standards and all that, you can use straps as beginner, intermediate, advanced, whatever. Like I said, it just comes down to more so if you are using them to compensate for a truly weak grip. How to train triceps with dumbbells. Tricep extensions. No different than any other move, than any other pattern. Is a cheat day on a keto diet bad? That depends entirely upon the diet. In what situation is soy acceptable? So any kind of soy preservatives are fine. The soy lecithin is fine. Soy protein isolate can actually be okay. One supplement to take if you had to pick one, not counting protein, probably vitamin D. I don't think anybody gets enough sun, myself included. Sometimes I squeeze the steering wheel really hard when driving as a grip exercise. Is that a bad idea? Yeah, that will give you a heart attack and kill you. So don't do that. I'm totally fucking kidding. I get, dude, if you want to. Who cares? Mahler's aggressive strength. Yeah, it works. Glutamine and creatine. Glutamine and creatine are not even remotely comparable. Glutamine's just a... How would you get those conflated with each other? I mean, I'd say take creatine, but glutamine and creatine, that's 2 different things. How to get rid of belly fat when you're skinny all over? You need to build muscle. Build a lot of muscle, and then just fucking do your sprints and walk and do your squats and push-ups and eat right, and the belly fat will gradually come off. Amino acid, glutamine. Yeah, no, glutamine is obviously amino acid, but the effects of glutamine versus the effects of creatine, the effects of creatine are a magnitude of effects. Glutamine's been proven to speak not to really do much of anything, unless you have severe digestive issues, so that's why I'm saying comparing the two is kind of a weird comparison. Recovery. What about recovery? Liver supplements worth it if you don't eat much organ meats? I don't really think so, honestly. How to reduce severe bloating when bulking or not possible? You need to figure out your fucking diet if you're bloating that bad. How do I increase my bench press? You bench press. And build your pecs. Been doing the assisted one for like 2 weeks now. Yeah, if you can't do pull-ups, then you do assisted pull-ups. Get looking as good as possible in 2 weeks for a show. Rethink your life as to why you waited that fucking long to only give yourself 2 weeks and you procrastinated that badly. Do butt squeezes do anything? They actually do. Good neuromuscular activation. I don't want to say exercise. Good neuromuscular activation movement. Why are you being mean? Because some of you asked very poorly worded questions. Henceforth, I keep it. Yes, thank you. I keep it real. Palms hurt on right hand when benching. Would gloves or helps or wrist wraps? Possibly. If your palms hurting, you might just have weak hands, honestly. So get your hands stronger. Train arms. That said, it can also be a technique issue of how you're lining up your wrists, so look at that. Last resort, though, then, yeah, put on a wrist wrap. I use wrist wraps when I press, and they work great. Does it matter if you don't eat enough protein? Of course it fucking matters. How would it not matter? That's like asking me would it matter if you didn't eat enough calories. If you don't eat enough protein, you're not going to recover fully. Period. You have to have enough protein. How to strengthen the wrist? Forearm curls and wrist curls. Very basic, guys. Is it safe to train twice a day? It is safe. I'm not really sure why you would think it's necessary. Training once a day works fine for pretty much everybody. Does electrostimulation a la Bruce Lee work? Yeah, okay, good question. Very good question. It actually does, but very conditional. Doing it properly, since they actually are protocols to it, doing it properly is probably far beyond the range of anyone's expertise that's a general population. So I wouldn't recommend it in that sensibility. Do you advise training neck? Yes, you should. Everyone should train neck, at least if you are a man. If you're not a man, obviously you're a woman, you don't need to train neck. If you're a guy, you need to be training your neck. Do you lift less per week if also doing combat training? Probably, since you have to manage recovery. Thoughts on blood flow restriction training for arms? It works great. I do neck training, it's dope. Good, keep it up. Are your programs okay to work out back-to-back days? A lot of them are back-to-back days. The majority of them, or at least probably a good half of them, are like 5 or 6 days a week. So yeah, you're going to be training back-to-back days. And you recommend full body programs, not starting strength. I see something with rep work. Full body programs, you know, honestly, I can't recommend anything. I'm not familiar with other people's programs. I've never written anything that's a full body program. Maybe I should. He sent one out. Did I send one out? I did send one out. Jesus, I forgot that I did. Yeah, so but I don't have anything for sale. It's a full body program. Dude, I forget my own emails half the time. Yeah, I did send out a full body program. I mean, full body programs, guys, they're pretty basic. You're doing multiple movements for different muscle groups, and you do them that way. You're not hitting any one thing, you know, prioritizing specifically. Is the earth flat? No, the earth is round. I just missed a whole bunch of questions. Do most exercises to failure? No. I would not advise doing every exercise to failure. If you're going to do things to failure, I suggest using rest pause training. That's the most productive form of training to failure. You do that for your primary movements, your indicators of progress, as I call them. You'll only do that for 1 or 2 movements a workout. Everything else will be done for reps to, you know, just short of failure. And training to failure is going to be specifically done for typically hypertrophy plus strength. Training to failure is generally not advised for pure strength training. If you bench, do push-ups, how do you get symmetrical and aesthetic pecs? Grip bar in different spots? No, aesthetic pec development is the result of proper muscular development for the functional anatomy of the pectoral muscle. So that means that you do dips, you go vertical, you go horizontal, you go incline, and then if you want complete development, you have to do overhead, and then you need to work your deltoids. You need to hit all 4 pressing angles if you want complete aesthetic pectoral development. Best posture workouts to scoliosis. That depends on the kind of scoliosis. Generally speaking, for scoliosis, you're going to have to get your just back stronger in general, top to bottom. My left side is way, way, way weaker than my right. What's a good way to correct that? You need to focus on your left sides exclusively when you train. So for any movement you do, whether it's bilateral or unilateral, you need to put all of your neuromuscular drive into your left side and get the technique down perfect. It will take a while. It'll take about probably 2 years for you. Just fucking deal with it. How to fix forward head posture. Get your neck stronger, or back stronger. Practice walking. Walk on an incline. If you got bad posture, you have to conscientiously practice how you stand all the time. One pec looks bigger than the other. How to bring the other up. Again, guys, anytime you have asymmetries at all, neuromuscular drive, exact perfect fucking technique, you put all of your mental energy into the weaker side constantly. If you need to do extra reps, weight sets for the weaker side, you do so. Push-ups, a good way to get back into shape with running. I mean, it's a start. That's a start. You're going to need to do more movements if you want, you know, total body development, but to start, you know, it's better than nothing. How to know if you should do extra sets? That depends entirely upon your training program. On weak side. It depends on how weak the weak side is. That's entirely variable. I'd have to assess you to even make recommendations specifically. Do you recommend hand-to-hand combat? Yes, I do. Boxing, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, Krav Maga. Yeah, there's a variety of Japanese martial arts, you know, that can be, you know, excellent. Do something, learn how to fucking handle yourself, know how to get punched in the face. Good neck exercises. Dude, look that up. Head nods, neck harness, you know, lateral plate raises, forward plate raises. There's a whole variety of those things. You can just fucking type that into YouTube. I have a podcast on neck exercises. Listen to the podcast. Can you train calves like abs? Work it every day. Yes, you can. Recommend protein intake per pound of kilogram body weight. 1 gram per pound of body weight. Just keep it that simple. He sent out an email with best exercises for everything. I did send out an email. It had, I think, the guide I sent out, it had like, what, 102 exercises in it? Again, people, you know, gonna be helpless. If you want to gain ectomorph, my cardio is already good. Should I back off cardio? Yeah, if you're an ectomorph and your cardio is fine, you don't need to do cardio to be gaining muscle. You're good. Just lift, go for a walk. It was awesome. Thank you. You're welcome. I just missed somebody's question. Last question, guys. Or last, few questions. How to strengthen hamstrings without quad development? Dude, that's fucking easy. Leg curls, fucking deadlifts. How did you confuse that? 1 gram of, I totally missed that question. Yeah, guys, general recommendation for protein take, 1 gram per pound of body weight. That's it. Just don't overthink it. Don't overfuck it up. Just aim to do that. If you're a little bit short, not a big deal, but just try and hit that number. If you hit that number or come close to it, guaranteed you're getting all the protein you need. My elbow can't fully extend when I do triceps workout. It locks and hurts if I try to extend. You might have really weak triceps. Your technique might just be fucked up. Or both. Or you might have, a fascial muscular restriction that you're unaware of. Fat intake recommendation for building muscle. That's entirely variable based upon your height, weight, body composition, and your, let's say, phenotype or your metabolic, your state of metabolism relative to your, biochemical individuality. There's no answer to that to give. That's a number. You have to look that up. Muscle Gain Nutrition, get the guide. It will explain to you the ranges for protein, carbs, and fat and how much you might need of each. Oh, someone asked height and weight. I'm 6'2", I weigh about 205 pounds. How much water per day? I aim for about 1 gallon. And I keep it that simple. Yeah, 1 gallon of water. Need to eat 4 to 6 times a day. 3 bigger meals okay. All of that's okay. Again, that just depends upon what works for you and your lifestyle and relative to your needs. What is in the bottle? Amino acids. Essential amino acids. Protein bars, yes or no? Yes. There's nothing wrong with protein bars. I work out daily but drink Coke often. Okay. Go ahead. I don't fucking care. Best arm workout. You do arm exercises to get your arms bigger. Have you ever thought about taking anabolic steroids? No. How do I tell my neighbor that I've been sleeping with his wife? You don't, and then, if he comes to kill you or you guys get into a fight, hopefully you kick his ass. If you get your ass kicked, then you got your ass kicked. And if you die because he kills you, then you're dead. And, hopefully you learn a lesson from making irresponsible life choices, and that's why you don't fuck other people's women. That's what you do. And I'll end that there. Good question. Don't fuck other guys, girls, guys. Just don't. It's a dishonorable thing to do. You don't want to be that guy. Because if it ever happens to you, then you're that guy, and you're going to be very, very, very upset. Adios, gentlemen.